Namaskar. People have been asking me to say something about the war in Israel. So first of all, here I use the word Israel in the broadest sense, representative of all people in the region. A region that includes Gaza and the West Bank. Personally, I prefer to think of this region as a single country, a single nation, with two states, a Jewish state and a Palestinian state. Because history shows the region to be closely entwined. But note that when I talk of two states, I most certainly do not mean two countries or two nations. I only mean that there are two distinct identities that currently don't mingle well. In the long run, for this region, I endorse a single-state solution, not a two-state solution. Having said that, let me offer my view on the war with a caveat that these remarks might not satisfy many, if any. In general, people prefer peace. The same is the case in Israel. So also here, just about everyone wants a long-term ceasefire. And few would oppose even a short-term ceasefire if it serves only a humanitarian purpose. But a short-term ceasefire that tends to facilitate a prolonged war effort will be viewed as counterproductive by at least one side in this or indeed in any conflict. Almost by definition, a ceasefire is a requisite precursor to the end of war. Peace may be described as a ceasefire that persists for an indefinite length of time. The real question is, it's not whether there should be a ceasefire. Obviously there should be, but we need to keep in mind that a ceasefire, long or short term, means that neither side fires on the other. But let's focus on a long-term ceasefire. Here, only one question is important. How do we get there? In Israel, as with just about anywhere else in the world, the largest obstacle to peace is the political leadership of one or both opposing camps. Looking at Israel, we have on one hand Bibi Netanyahu's tyrannical and extremist coalition managing the Jewish state, and on the other hand we have the tyrannical and extremist Hamas managing the Palestinian state. And this means that peace is only possible by replacing both sets of political leaders. This could happen in a relatively non-violent fashion, through elections, coups, international pressure, or the like. Or it could happen in a much more violent fashion whereby one set of warlike leaders effectively roots out the other set of warlike leaders. In due course, even in the latter case, the winning party, the so-called victor, will also eventually lose because a warlike leader requires a warlike opposition to stay in power. So eventually we end up replacing the bellicose leadership on both sides. Currently, for what it's worth, we seem to be moving along the more violent path. Those who prefer the other path can try not to fan the flames of war, but there is no telling whether that will be successful. It all depends on his will. In any event, ascension peace is inevitable. In due course, Prout will be established. Neo-humanism will prevail. The only question is when it will happen, or, in other words, how will we get there? Personally, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what twists and turns Baba has written into the script for this drama. Like everyone else, I can only wait and see. In the meantime, our duty is clear. We must hold the banner of our ideology high and take whatever life gives us in stride.